Again, one of my favorite videos to make is when I talk about some of the things that I purchased this week or things that I thought about that said, you know what, I'm glad I have this. Let's add a little bit more to my stockpile. Some of these you could pick up at Walmart, some of these you can pick up at big box stores, some of these you could pick up at local outfitters or local stores. Try to support local, but sometimes you can't. So find companies that hopefully represent you or companies that can give you the best price. So today we're going to talk about 5 things that I purchased this week, things that you should consider. I don't want to convince you to buy something if it does not show value to you. Everything that I purchase on these lists, I literally do purchase or have a wide array of amount of what we're talking about. Can these things save your life? Some can. If some of these things don't interest you, that's okay. Go back to some of our other prepping stockpile lists, and I believe you will find value in all of them. Today, let's jump into this list. Some things you can buy from Walmart, some of the things you can buy from local stores, but 5 things you should think about buying today. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here again. This is one of our last days out of state, so you will see us back home hopefully in the coming days. But thank you so much for being here and supporting our channel. And if you like the content, give us a thumbs up. It means the world to me. I humbly ask that you subscribe. Remember, we're doing a giveaway today. We're going to release the name, so stay tuned to the end of the video. Again, all it took for this person to win is a random drawing from the list of subscribers of people who commented and gave us a thumbs up for the month, and are, of course, part of our subscriber pool. So you'll be winning a prepper bar from Genesis Gold. Check those out. I think it's the coolest thing. You can break these off and have a gold or silver option to use for bartering and prepping needs. Now let's talk about today, the video. 5 things that you should be looking at to purchase this week. None of these have order, but the purpose of this list is I was going out of town. So I want to make sure that I have everything I need as I go out of town. Some of these things I already have, and I have a good bit of them. But it made me think this week, this would be a good investment to make sure I have enough of, especially as I travel out of town. Let's talk about the list. So number 1, this is a good investment, of course, for me because I don't have, I'm not allergic, but I do systemically swell up, or I tend to get it seems like it gets worse every time I get stung. Now I'm a beekeeper because we're homesteaders, but there's a lot of people that have allergies now. Well, number 1 is an EpiPen. Now, we carry an EpiPen everywhere we go. None of my kids are truly allergic or have major reactions to any kind of food or any kind of situation, even with being stung. But with me owning bees and with us being around our bee farm, our kids tend to they like to play outside. So we always keep EpiPens with us. Now, when we travel, like the last few days that we've been traveling, we don't know what situation we're going into. Even though we know our kids are not quote-unquote allergic to anything, we want to make sure that we have access to an EpiPen. Now, a lot of this, if you're, have allergies or you have a doctor who can, prescribe this to you, it may not cost you any money, or it may cost you a few dollars. If you're like me, I didn't have a doctor to do that. I don't do like traditional health care and health insurance. I do a different version of that where you bill sharing. So for me, I had to buy mine personally. Now, these things are not cheap, but you need to look at places that do emergency medicine. For me, I like Jace Medical. You don't have to buy from Jace Medical. There is a discount below if you choose to use Jace Medical. But I liked having a few extra EpiPens. So we carry 3 usually in our vehicle, 2 with our Jace kit, to make sure that at any point in time, if we see a issue with anaphylaxis or the fact of, one of our kids get an allergy reaction to something that we didn't know that they have an allergic reaction to, or have allergies or something based to, I want to make sure that there's no problem with them making sure they're safe before we get them to some kind of hospital or some kind of medical establishment. So we carry an EpiPen everywhere we go, and we want to make sure that we have this because you never know when you may need it. EpiPens could save your life, and I think this is something you should be looking into. If you have to buy it outright, they could be costly, but there's generic versions, and you can also buy it with an emergency preparedness kit from Jace or any of these companies, and it tends to save you some money. Number 2, what you should be purchasing is a good quality protein. Now, I talk about this a lot, powdered protein. We buy an organic whey protein. Now, we do our own whey too through a freeze dryer, through the process of making sure that we can save every aspect of our dairy milk. However, I also buy a lot of whey protein because me and my son, we work out, we have a good time, but at the same time we want to make sure that we're getting enough protein in our diet no matter what our diet looks like for the day. Especially when we go on trips like this. You know, there's trash food, you go on what, you know, quote unquote vacations, or you go to places that you can't necessarily cook all the time. We can't, we're on the roads. So therefore, because we eat wholesome, for the most part, my kids and myself, we can't just eat junk food or fast food. That's not something that we traditionally would do, and it ends up messing our whole system up. So we keep powdered protein with us at all times, or a way that we can have access to it to keep our protein levels up, of course, for building muscle and making sure that we're keeping our strength up, but also to balance a caloric intake that may be lower since we're not at home eating good quality food. Protein is one of those things. It's a shelf-stable protein, and you want to make sure you're getting one with non-artificial flavorings or anything like that. But this is something we keep on our prepper shelves handily. I like buying organic protein. You can buy these at Walmart. You can buy these at GNC. You can order them online. Online's a lot cheaper. So we tend to order ours online just to save some money. But we've picked this up at our local supermarkets. We've picked this up at local supplement stores. Buy some powdered protein. Get some organic or some very natural. Don't try to stay away from the plant proteins. Not that plant proteins are bad, but if your basis for your full protein level for the day is all soy or all plant-based, I think that's a bad approach. So I tend to like the full-fledged grass-fed dairy proteins. That's what I look for. Powdered protein is one of those things. It's a go-to for us. I usually drink a protein shake at least once a day, if not twice. When you're drinking a protein shake, you're getting less caloric intake, but heavy protein. So if you're trying to cut weight or you're trying to stay healthy, powdered protein actually is a good fit for any supplemental diet a day. Number 3, when we were leaving for this trip, you know, it's late summer, it's hot, but as a prepper, this is something that I'm looking forward to. If you know that what we've been doing at our home, we've been cleaning woods out, making more pasture for our cows. Again, we're homesteaders, so our goal is to grow our food supply handily. Part of that is we were cutting a pine thicket that needed to be cut because of the drought and issues with last year, and we needed to get them out of there. However, we left a lot of oaks because hardwoods we try not to cut unless we just have to. But the benefit of them cleaning the pine up and making pasture, they took out some of our oaks that were not big. They were just kind of scrappy trees that were no good. They were split, some of them dead already. We now have wood laying on the ground that we're going to cut up for firewood. Now, no one wants to think about firewood, of course, when it comes to being hot. But number 3, you need to make sure that you have a good quality chainsaw, extra chainsaw, like for instance, chain oil, or ways to make sure that you can sharpen your blades or have extra chain blades. And if you don't want to do all that, just make sure that you're buying extra firewood or ways like wood chips to heat your home. Firewood, I know it sounds crazy. Having a way to make fire and having firewood for your home gives you full independence of heat, energy, cooking. You control those things. That's why everybody's trying to get you away from fire-burning stoves or wood-burning stoves. That's why everybody's trying to get away from chimneys. They try to make this about how dangerous it is for our globe. That is a bunch of hogwash. Fires have been around forever, and that is how most people lived and thrived. Without heat, without energy, without a way to purify your water and your food, it is, you're lost hope. So for us, we have firewood, but anytime we have a tree that's going down, we don't want to waste it. So then we're going to cut it up. So I bought some extra fire needs this week. I bought a new axe sharpener. I also bought a new chainsaw blade. I had to buy some more chainsaw files. We did one chainsaw was broke, so we had to do some work to it, so we bought some things that we needed. Now, if you live in the city and you're like, I'm not going to cut up a tree, okay. Use this as a chance to buy maybe some wood chips to learn how to heat and smoke and cook food. Maybe this is a time that you can buy charcoal. Maybe this is a time that you can buy your firewood. I know in my area, because we're in a very heavy wooded area, if you buy a load of firewood, you're paying $200 or $300 for a truckload of wood. You're buying maybe $200 or $300 for a core of wood. I think this would be a great thing for you to invest in because you are building an independence when it comes to heat, purification, energy, and of course, a way that you can independently cook your food. Very, very wise to do. Number 3, anything dealing with fire needs securing a way to cook, heat, and have energy for your home. Number 4, as we were talking about going out of town. Now this is something I already own, but I bought a second one. If you notice, we always carry our trailer with us everywhere we go. We're a family of 8, and typically we don't go to just a traditional vacation. We do some exploring, we do some hiking, and so we utilize that trailer a lot more for other things. We did a whole video on what we haul in the trailer. If you go back a few months ago, when we went to Colorado, we did the same thing. It was about a year ago, but we talked about everything that we pile in there. Well, one of the things that we actually bring with us every trip is what we call a Slim Jim. Now, if you know anything about a vehicle and you accidentally lock your keys in your car, 2 things. I carry an extra key with me in my wallet at all times. Usually if my son or my wife is with me, they have an extra key to the car as well. But when we have a trailer or we have another access point, or if we're trying to help someone out. For instance, there was a guy that had a messed up tire and it was a blowout the first stop we stopped on this trip. So this is a compounded answer. You need to have tools for the road. So this week I liked buying a Slim Jim. I bought another Slim Jim. A Slim Jim is a way that you can actually ease in through your window. A lot of police or sheriffs have this to get into a car if someone locks their keys in their car. So we like a Slim Jim. You can literally buy them online for like 20 bucks on Amazon. I'll link the one below that I use and that I bought and I've used actually because my kids have locked the keys in the car and things like that. But we carry an extra Slim Jim in the car. Now, going back to the story with the guy with the tire blowout, I was able to help him because he really didn't know how to change a tire. Here's the sad thing. He did not have a full set of equipment in his car to actually change his tire. He had his tire rod to where we could break the bolts and to pretty much get his tire off. However, his jack is a small car. His jack was not able to actually go up, and we could not use a screwdriver. We cannot use my set from my car because my car is, of course, a big old vehicle, so it would not fit under there. Now, so I got him to a point where at least get his tire ready, get it off. However, I could not help him because he did not have the tools and necessities needed. How many times have you not checked your vehicle for a good jack and make sure you have everything it is that you need to change your car or to keep your car safe? It may be extra keys, it may be a Slim Jim to break into your car if you ever needed to make sure that you can get your keys out. It may be the fact of just having a jack to jack up a car. Now, I'm not saying you need to buy tools for everybody else's car, but keep a universal set to be able to get someone off the side of the road. This could be a big help for you. Not only that, what about you? Do you have everything and do you know how to change a tire if you get into that kind of situation? Do you have the jack that's built for your car? Do you have the tire rod that's built for your lugs? Those are things you got to think about. I have a different modified tire on my vehicles. Most of them are built with mud grip tires and they're kind of formulated for different terrains because we're preppers. So it takes a different lug. You can't use your stock set of tools just to change your tire. So make sure you have the needs to get off the side of the road, and one of those things are making sure you have either a Slim Jim to get into your car or simply the tire set to jack your car up and to change your tire. Very, very important. And lastly, this is a thing I bought this week because, again, we were doing honey before we left. We were still taking in a lot of our garden, and we were also freeze drying a lot of our elderberries. Elderberries are a great thing to get this time of year. You can find them. A lot of them are blooming in the south, and you'll be able to harvest those berries out for flu season. Now, the point of what we're talking about and putting that food up, especially our honey and our hog and all that when we were actually processing hog a few weeks ago, is I needed more food grade buckets. Now I have tons of food grade buckets. If you've watched our prepping videos and our pantry video on this channel, but also on the vlog channel that Misty's been designing and redesigning our pantry, we use a lot of food grade buckets. Food grade buckets you can buy at Walmart. You can buy them for literally $4.28 at my personal Walmart. It may be $5 or $6 wherever you're at. We do live in South Mississippi. But you can buy the tops that are food grade right next to them. They're usually in the paint section at Walmart. Now say you want to save some money. A lot of times if you go to bakeries or you go to cooking areas like where they make cakes and things like that in supermarkets, they cannot use their buckets again for their icing. And most of those are food grade buckets. Grab some of those. They'll usually either give them to you or sell them to you for very, very cheap because they cannot reuse them. Also check with bigger restaurants and shipping companies that sell these big olives and these big, things like pickles to these restaurants. And they come over from overseas. Like, for instance, I got a lot of buckets that were olive buckets, 55-gallon drums of olives. Who even eats olives? That's terrible. But I bought them off a gentleman, and they were food grade, and I can utilize them by putting more food in, or to transport when I go somewhere something safe, and I know that it is safe for me to consume. One of our things is honey. We put a lot of honey up because we are sustainable. So that is our sugar source for our farm for a year or longer, basically. So I put those in food grade buckets. So if you're buying them secondhand, or if you're buying them from Walmart, or you're buying them from another store, don't just buy a 5-gallon bucket. Don't just buy a 3-gallon bucket. Don't just buy a 50-gallon bucket. Make sure they're food grade so you can put things in them that will keep them safe for you to consume. If they're not safe and they're getting all this BPA or all this other chemicals into your food, it's not good having food that is chemicalized or actually bad for you now. So make sure you're buying good quality food grade buckets. I picked up a lot of those this week because we had a honey flow come in. We put about an extra 10 gallons of honey up so far for the year. We've got about another 10 to harvest, so I needed 2 more buckets. That was also on top of me curing out some hams in my cool room and smoker, so I had to have 2 or 3 extra buckets to cure out some hams. So you see, we use these for a lot. We're going to be putting elderberry back up once we get back home. We need buckets, we need bags, we need things to put that up to keep it safe. So this is a good investment this week. Buy some food grade buckets, very economical to purchase. All right, now to the winner of today's prepper bar. The individual that won today's prepper bar, and again, all she did was just comment and give us a thumbs up and as a subscriber of our channel. Now, if this is you, just please reach out to us via email. But the winner of the prepper bar is Tori Dismuke 5791. So it's Tori, and I may have just destroyed the name, but it's Toridismuke. I will put the name right here, Tori Dismuke 5791. Now, I want to see the value of what we're talking about. We read your comments as much as we can. What she commented was she was asking about the unplugged phone from Eric Prince and Unplugged. I love the phone. I think it's a great investment. You need to check that out. But also she has, what is the phones that you're using for your children? We don't do internet phones for our children. We don't do smartphones for our children, so we use Gab Wireless. We're not affiliated with Unplugged or Gab, but that's just me just being honest. What we use for our children are called Gab phones. They are high quality phones, but they're for talk and text only. We do not allow our kids on social media or smartphones. Also, the unplugged phone, I actually have an unplugged phone. However, one of the networks, we're not hooked up to it yet, so I use it, but I cannot use it as my main staple phone. So I have 2 phones, so you need to make sure that if you buy the unplugged phone, that it is already compatible with your network, but it's a way that you can be completely safe and off iOS or Androids, which is going to give you peace of mind to know that you are kept safe. Read about those things. Now, Tori Dismuke, you won the prepper bar. We will be sent to you. Reach out to us via email so we can get your address and make sure that you are getting this, and just to thank you from us to you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, and humbly thank you so much for hanging out with us every day. I film every day, and my wife films every other day. So that's a part of our life that's very, very important. However, we love sharing life with you because we hope to help you get better on this journey of sustainability, independence, and also making sure that you are doing everything you can to take care of your family. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless.